12 states are sitting at 30 below zero wind chill right now, and 40,000 Americans are still without power from last week's ice storm. But here's the kicker. Friday's Clipper system could drop visibility to zero in under 60 seconds across major highways. And by February 11th, we might be looking at something even bigger developing along the East Coast. So stick around because what shifted on last night's models is going to change how you plan your weekend. All right, look, I need to be straight with you about what we're facing here. This isn't just another cold snap. This is a textbook Arctic outbreak with the jet stream diving straight down from the Arctic Circle. Now, before we jump into cities, let me tell you why this one's different and why I'm actually concerned. Yesterday, I got a message from a viewer in Tennessee, an elderly woman still without heat from last weekend. She's been sleeping in her car, running the heater in 30-minute intervals because her house dropped to 38 degrees inside. And the thing is, she's one of thousands in the same situation right now as this weekend's cold moves in. So when I go through these forecasts, just remember, these aren't just numbers. These are your neighbors. And real quick, if I don't cover your area today, drop your city below and I'll get you an update. All right, here's the setup. We've got a Clipper system racing down from Canada that hits Friday morning. This thing's packing snow squalls with it, which basically means you could be driving in clear conditions 1 second and complete whiteout the next. That's how multi-car pileups happen, and that's why Friday morning's commute is legitimately dangerous. Now, the European model shows this Arctic air starting to lift by Monday the 9th, which would give us some relief. But the American GFS model wants to keep it locked in longer, so one of them's going to be wrong here. Based on the upper level pattern, I'm leaning toward the Euro on this one, but we'll know more by tomorrow morning. Let's break down the major metros, and I'm going to give you the temps plus what you actually need to know. Starting with the Northeast Corridor, New York City hits 32 with a low of 21, but Friday morning is when you need to watch out. We're talking I-95 corridor whiteout conditions between 7 and 10 a.m. when everyone's trying to get to work. Boston drops to 32 and 18 with ocean-enhanced snow potentially bringing 4 to 7 inches by Saturday morning. If you're in Boston, honestly, Friday's not the day to be a hero. Work from home if you can. Philadelphia sits at 38 and 24, DC at 42 and 26, both seeing snow squalls Friday afternoon. Not massive amounts, but enough to make roads slick during evening rush hour. So plan accordingly. Moving to the Great Lakes region. This is where it gets brutal. Folks, Chicago's sitting at 28 degrees with a low around 5, and wind chills Saturday morning are going to hit 25 to 30 below. That's the kind of cold where exposed skin gets frostbite in less than 10 minutes. I'm not exaggerating. Detroit and Milwaukee are in the same boat. Mid-20s with single-digit lows and dangerous wind chills all weekend long. If you've got pets, they're inside, no exceptions. And check on your elderly neighbors. Seriously. Minneapolis is going to be the coldest at 22 degrees. And get this, Miami's sitting at 76 at the same time. That's a 54-degree temperature spread across one country, which tells you how extreme this pattern is. Now down south, things are moderating, but there's still cleanup happening from last week's ice storm. Atlanta's at 48, Nashville at 50, Memphis at 52, all recovering from those brutal freezes we saw earlier. Charlotte and Raleigh are both sitting in the upper 40s to low 50s, and schools are finally reopening after being closed for over a week. Parents, I know you're exhausted, kids falling behind, trying to work from home. Relief is coming. Texas cities are in decent shape. Dallas-Fort Worth in the mid-50s. Houston at 58, Austin at 60. You guys dodged the worst of this one, but stay tuned because that mid-month pattern could bring you back into play. West Coast is staying mild. LA and San Diego in the mid-60s. San Francisco around 60. Seattle and Portland are rainy and low 50s, which honestly sounds pretty good compared to what the East is dealing with right now. All right, now here's something that changed overnight that I need you to understand. The 12Z European model run shifted Friday's snow squall track about 50 miles south compared to yesterday. What that means is cities that thought they'd just see flurries are now looking at 2 to 4 inches, possibly more. So if you're anywhere in the Ohio Valley or Mid-Atlantic corridor, Friday just got significantly more dangerous. Let me give you the timing on this because if you're going to travel Friday, you need to know exactly when to avoid the roads. Friday morning, 7 to 10 a.m. The squalls hit the Great Lakes hard, and visibility can drop from clear to zero in under a minute. If you're driving through Cleveland, Buffalo, Detroit, Chicago, or Indianapolis, either leave before 5 a.m. or just don't go. Friday afternoon, 2 to 6 p.m., the snow spreads into D.C., Philly, and Baltimore during evening rush hour. Friday night into Saturday, Boston and coastal New England see the heaviest snow, potentially 4 to 7 inches. Saturday is when the coldest air really settles in, with wind chills hitting 20 to 40 below across the northern tier. Sunday's going to be even colder in some spots. New England and upper Midwest could see wind chills approaching 50 below. Now let's talk about what happens after this breaks, because this is where it gets really interesting. By Monday the 9th, that Arctic air starts lifting north, and we see warmth from the south finally pushing back in. Tuesday the 10th, significant warm-up for the Carolinas, Tennessee, and the Ohio Valley after getting absolutely brutalized. But here's the thing. When you get a warm-up followed by another cold shot, that's the classic setup for major storms. Wednesday the 11th through Thursday the 12th, the models are showing potential for wintry weather returning to the northeast. The Euro's being more aggressive on this than the GFS, and if it trends just slightly north, we could be looking at a significant snowfall event for the I-95 corridor. Way too early for specifics, but the signal's there. That battle zone between warm Gulf air and cold Canadian air produces the most violent weather. I'll be watching the overnight model runs closely, and if this trends stronger, you'll get an update immediately. Quick question for you. What region do you want me to dive deeper on tomorrow? Are you in the Northeast, worried about that potential Valentine's weekend storm? Or are you in the South, wanting to know when you're fully in the clear? Drop it below because your comments literally shape what I cover next. All right, let me give you the action items. This is what you need to do right now. Today, before Friday hits. Number 1, stock up on essentials today. Not tomorrow. Bread, milk, batteries, whatever you need. Number 2, charge every device you own because if power goes out in this cold, you need communication. Number 3, if you're one of those folks still without power from last week, find a warming center immediately. Write down the address on paper, not just in your phone, because batteries die in extreme cold. Number 4, generators go outside, away from windows. Carbon monoxide has no smell, no color, and it kills people every single winter. Number 5, check on your neighbors, especially elderly folks living alone. A quick phone call or door knock could literally save someone's life this weekend. Number 6, pets inside. Period. If it's too cold for you to be outside, it's too cold for your dog. And number 7, if you absolutely must travel Friday, pack a complete emergency kit in your car. Blankets, water, flashlight, phone charger, snacks, shovel. Getting stranded goes from inconvenient to life-threatening real fast in this cold. Here's what I'm watching most closely over the next 48 hours. First, Friday's clipper and those snow squalls, because the visibility drops are going to happen without warning. Second, this weekend's Arctic blast with genuinely life-threatening wind chills, Saturday and Sunday, across the northern states. Third, the pattern flip around February 10th when warmth finally pushes back into the east. And fourth, that potential mid-month storm developing February 11th through 13th. If the European model's aggressive solution verifies, this could be a major multi-state event affecting millions. I'm going to be checking the overnight model runs, and if anything shifts dramatically, I'll have an update out by 6 a.m. tomorrow. Before I let you go, I want to circle back to that viewer I mentioned at the beginning. After yesterday's video, several of you reached out with warming center info near her, and we got her connected with local resources. She's staying somewhere safe tonight, which is exactly why this community matters. So, if you know someone in a similar situation, do that same thing. Make the call, send the text, check in. If this forecast helped you prepare, go ahead and hit that like button. It genuinely helps get critical weather info to more people when conditions are dangerous. And honestly, are you exhausted from this winter? Or are you one of those people who's still loving the snow? Because I'm seeing both in the comments, and it's wild how different everyone's experience has been. Subscribe if you haven't already, because this pattern stays active through mid-month and you're gonna want updates as that Valentine's weekend setup develops. Stay warm, stay safe, and get through this brutal weekend. Relief is coming by Wednesday. The models are backing that up with high confidence. Take care of yourselves and each other. I'll see you tomorrow morning with another update.